Hey, what's going on? You know who it is. You know what it is. All right, you guys, Pew Game. Here's the thing. Andre Iguodala recently put out some comments about Mark Jackson. He basically verified what a lot of us thought in the first place. Ticket was on this from day one that Mark Jackson had been ostracized out the NBA, and I thought that was the same thing also as well. But I would like to thank Andre Iguodala for verifying what a lot of us thought in the first place, because it makes us appear to know what we're talking about, which we do. And it vindicates us when people sit up here and say, oh, that isn't the case. You don't know what you're talking about and all that type of shit. Look, I have an idea why Mark Jackson is being ostracized, but I'm not sure. I don't know if it's his skin color. I don't know if it's a black thing. That would be kind of hard to prove that, because there's a lot of black coaches in the NBA. But I will say this much. Black coaches don't get the time that a lot of these white coaches get. And a lot of times, a lot of these white coaches get recycled more than the black coaches, unless you're Alvin Gentry. You know, so that's fact. So I don't know in particularly if it's a color thing. So I'll be fair as far as that goes. But I do think one of the biggest problems that people talked about with Mark Jackson, which is a known documented fact, Mark Jackson is extremely religious. If I'm not mistaken, I heard he's a pastor in the off season, or he has a church or whatever. I don't know if that's been confirmed, but I've heard that. Once again, I will say I've heard that. And a lot of people said that, to a certain degree, they said that he was trying to force that on people. One thing that you cannot do, this is why I try not to talk. It's two subjects I try not to talk. And I was always told by my father to try to avoid two conversations. He said, try to avoid talking politics and religion. So I tried to patent that, after my father, and not talking politics or religion. But somehow, some way, every once in a while, I do end up talking politics. But as you can see, I try not to talk religion too much. Now, I was raised in the Christian church. That's my religion. That's what I was raised. But one thing about me, I never tried to force it on people. I would when something good happened, and I tell people, I say I prayed about it, and God got me through it, which I still do. But I don't sit up here and say, hey man, you need to go to church and you need to do this and Jesus is the only way. Because see, that turns people off. Because what if they're not a Christian? What if they're Catholic? What if they're Muslim? So you kind of got to be careful with that. And then when you sit up there and say, well, all it comes down to is my God is better than your God. And that's something that I tried to stay away from. I tried to stay out of that kind of talk. I know the church tell you that you're supposed to spread the word and all that kind of stuff, which you can spread it, but you can't force it. It's a difference. You can say, here's a flyer. This is my church. I go here. If you want to, come check us out. But if you walk, I didn't see these people do this stuff. I've seen these super religious people come up here and say, here, take this flyer, come to church, and if you don't join, you going to hell. And somebody gonna be like, excuse me? And see, that's where you go wrong. And the thing is, with the Christian religion, a lot of times they don't want to work with people that's, outside of the Christian religion as far as doing stuff for the community. I've always said we could find common ground. I've always believed that black Muslims could work with black Christians together if it meant bettering the black race. Because at the end of the day, the main goal is to preserve ourselves and be able to keep reproducing and making life better for our future children. And, but hey, That's just me. But a lot of us don't think like that, and I'm sorry, I got to tell the truth about that. I've seen that, where a lot of times Christians don't want to work with other outside sources, especially in the black community. What's wrong with working with the Nation of Islam, or a dude that's Muslim or Catholic or whatever? Even to a certain degree, atheist. If it's about preserving black people and helping black people and keeping black people alive, then you know what? So be it. At the end of the day, you can deal with it when, Judgment Day comes, whatever the case may be. But I really do think that's the main reason why Mark Jackson can't get another job, because there were reports that he was doing that with everybody. A lot of people he was coaching, and he was, other coaches, other players on other teams, and that turned people off. That's what I heard. I'm just telling the truth. So that might be the reason. Now keep in mind, he got into it with a couple of the players in behind that. He got into it with that dude, the center. The center. He got into it with him. So those are supposed to be some of the reasons. And then he kept getting into it. He got into it with the Warriors GM about certain things. There were I just heard there were certain policies he wanted to initiate when he was coaching, and it just rubbed people the wrong way. There were reports that players were, reporting him about doing that stuff. And, that might be the reason why he can't get another job. Because there was a rumor, I remember his name. Sorry about that. Sometimes I go blank. There was an incident where they said Andrew Bogut kicked somebody out of a locker room that he supposed to have brought in, basically to, I guess, pray for the team or something like that. I don't have the details of what happened, but there was supposed to have been an incident with Andrew Bogut where he got mad, about that. So this is the story that I heard. Don't get mad at me. I'm just giving y'all the real. And I'm not trying to make this a Christian versus Muslim, and I'm just telling you what I heard. I followed this story closely. But that's the reason why I think Mark Jackson has had difficulty finding work. Because it is no reason why he should not have got a second chance. But anyway, this your boy Town Biz. I'm out.